Good evening, everybody. Let's try that again. Having a bit of a problem tonight. Welcome. Hello, I'm on twice. Right, don't quite know what's going on there, but never mind. As it's a bank holiday weekend, everybody's sort of tied up and busy and doing things, which is absolutely wonderful. So I thought to jump on tonight, have a chat, talk about different things. Hello, Patrick. Hello, Phil. No, Bruno and Ron are next week. They are next Saturday, not tonight. You've just got me tonight, so you can turn off now, and if you're quick, you can just catch Quantum of Solace starting, so that'd be good. Anyway, I just thought we'd have a nice little natter tonight, put out a few things. I'm looking down, I've just been making notes today, different topics and things. No, it's alright, Phil, there was a couple of adverts went out, wrong date on it. My bag, never mind. They have been changed. Yeah, a few notes on things to talk about, and I'm just wondering, with spiritualism and the way that's, I don't want to say portrayed, that's not the right word. The way that's presented, there's a nice word. And I wonder, what do people think? Do you think we are missing a bit of a point here? The way we do. I'm not knocking the Dems. I know we have to have the evidential mediumship as part of what we do. So I'm not knocking the Dems. And in fact, the evidential mediumship is that part of spiritualism which puts us head and shoulders above other religions. We can actually give very good evidence of what we're talking about. So there's absolutely no knocking of the Dems. But we're coming into a funny time of the year. It's that autumn feel starting to come in again, and the energies are sort of slightly starting to pull back a bit and more on a personal thing. And I was just wondering, when I say are we missing the point here, are we maybe not bringing out more of people's own self-awareness? Now when I say that, I don't mean awareness in making the spirit contact or awareness in working as a healer, but actually awareness with themselves. You know, it's all very well and good to keep going out there and continue to give evidence all the time. But what is that underlying reason for that? I mean, that happens. The spirit world know and understand why that happens. But is it being treated now as a bit more of a standalone, and this is what spiritualism is all about? Or actually, is there the manoeuvrability there? Is there the potential there? My favourite word at the moment, potential. Is there that potential there to start saying, well, look, here's the evidence. Now start applying that to you as a person today in this world. How do we start to bring that energy into our churches, centres, and another little pointer I've written down, electronic churches. As a lot of you are aware, and thoughts out to everybody who runs a church or a centre in London, and doesn't matter what religion, faith or creed you are, this unfair tax is going to be a sledgehammer blow, in my estimation, if we bring it back to spiritualism. When is it? The 29th. So as from the 29th, all the volunteers have got to pay $12.50 to go to the church volunteer. The mediums are going to have to pay their $12.50 to go to the church or work. The congregation are going to have to pay £12.50 to go to church. And I keep mulling that point over in my mind, and I just think, well, I run a church, so I apply things as from my point of view of running a church. And I think, well, if I was running a church in London now, I would be extremely concerned. Extremely concerned. It's hard enough keeping a vibrant, healthy community going in churches. It's a full-time job doing that. But when suddenly everybody's going to get penalised by these taxes, the obvious thing is people will start pruning out trips to save money. And sadly, probably one of the first things that will get pruned out will be their regular church visits. So, yeah, that's another thing. Anybody from London, share your thoughts. Phil, you're a Londoner. How do you see that affecting churches in this new ULEZ zone that's coming along in a couple of days? And what was the other point? So, self-awareness, personal development, mentorships. Yeah, this actually links into the personal development side in a way, the mentorship side of things, where you're getting that one time with a spiritual coach. Is there anybody on tonight who's experienced that firsthand or got any questions about it? I've got a fair working knowledge about it, but obviously it's unique and individual to the coach taking it. But I'm doing a bit of self-promotion here on behalf of the church. The lovely Angela Foster is going to be doing an online mentorship in the new year for people that are already working on the platforms to just build on enhance. And alongside that, we've got a couple of online courses, again with lovely Angela. Got to be careful, if I say her name too many times, she'll appear. One on evidential mediumship in the public eye, and the other one on philosophy. So, as I kept saying, that probably, how to link this in, because I just think we're missing this thing about, what does it mean to you? I'm going to point. You. The fact we live forever, what does that mean to you? And how does it get into your life today? And how does that get into your thinking? So how do we get that across? How do we build on that energy and try and bring those thoughts forward? Thank you, Phil. Right, my screen out is playing up tonight. I don't know what's going on, but it's very irritating. Phil Shaw is saying, yes, I'm very much more conscious in my mediumship dress and focusing on helping people become more self-aware in terms of their aspiration, potential in developing their spiritualism in everyday life, not just in church. Good point. Just got to say a quick hello, everybody who's just joined, and hello to Philadelphia, the lovely Joan. Thoughts out with you, darling. We've received your messages, so thoughts out with you all. But yeah, you've hit on something there that I've been talking about of late, and it's a terminology I use, the 90-minute spiritualist. When we see people who will go to a church or a centre and whatever and be all love-a-night and wonderful, and on exiting those premises, reality kicks in again, and suddenly spiritual thoughts go out there. We've all seen cases of that. Oh my goodness, we've got Manhattan on as well. Hello, Stefan. Um, so yeah, this is what I'm looking at. This is just something that's been floating around, and I'm hoping tonight is going to coalesce into a working plan of how do we get this over. I've just seen, funnily enough, as it happens, an advert just popped up on my feed about an awareness group, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. That should come up just a couple of minutes before I'm going to ask questions about this. But from the wordage of it, it was about developing your spirit contacts, about enhancing your mediumship, and I'm like, yeah, that's not what I feel awareness is about. I think the awareness, we've got to really strip it back to ground zero and to the person. Because as I say, we have wonderful demonstrators week in, week out, up and down the land, in churches, in centres, online, the electronic church coming in very strongly, giving that evidence, and it just seems to have been left in many cases. It's just sort of like, well, there's the evidence, there you go, bye, see you. Next week we've got a really lovely medium, love that time. I had that again recently. Well, thank you very much, Lawrence. That was wonderful, wonderful time. Next week we've got a wonderful medium, and I'm like, okay, so I'm not wonderful then. That's just me. Yeah. So Jamie, lovely Jamie, what have you got to say, sir? Apologies. My system is running very slow here tonight, and I've got two of me on the bottom line that you can't see, and it's really off-putting. For me, the message is simple, the start of a journey of self-discovery. We can either choose to take at surface value or allow it to challenge us to explore our spirituality at a deeper level. Indeed, Jamie, that is very succinct. That does hit the nail on the head. But for many people coming into our churches and centres, that connection may not be made. So how do we bring that energy in? Those of you who watch the services from Paul, you will often hear and see me saying things like, do not forget, this is that time you can reconnect with those loved ones you give your eye teeth to talk to again, and bringing in, that fact that we do live forever and its implications. And I just feel like we need maybe to have a look at that linkage, and take away in some people's eye, the show appeal of when we do DEMS, and actually start to get that message over. You know what, this has happened to your mother, father, sister, brother, grand, whatever. They have come back to prove that they are still thinking, reasoning, and observing what we're still doing. And that's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to me. It's going to happen to all of us. So how do we generating that interest? How do we start getting that? Okay, I'll have my evidence. Where do we go? So, there we go. Whoa, jumping in, wonderful. Phil, swapping over to the London issues. And as I say, as a church president, I if they brought that into this town, I would be gravely concerned. The whole ULEV scenario, very worrying, and unfortunately, as you say, Laurie, churches may suffer. I think Wimbledon may be fined. A lot of people, our church, using train bus travel on Sundays. That's wonderful. Yeah, that's wonderful. Obviously, the more we can get on public transport, the better. However, our love affair with the motor car is very far from over. I was out today and looking at a queue of cars coming into town, and I'm not demonising drivers by any means. It's very easy for me to say things because I don't drive through choice. But it was amazing, the huge queue of cars, and there was one person in each car, and I just thought, well, yeah, I see that something needs to be addressed, but rather than this draconian measure that's being introduced, and I still wonder with the ULEZ thing. I was looking at the exemptions, and I'm pretty sure, I've not gone into any great depth, but I'm pretty sure about people's right to worship, and this would cover all doctrines, and that anything that hinders that right to worship is actually indeed against the law. So one could actually construct a very good argument to say, well, this tax is going to shut our churches, centres, whatever your creed. I think there's, I think people have been allowed to impose, and I think people need to start looking at other options. Seriously do. But anyway. Arisha and practice, and evidence, and evidence. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of evidence. Hello, Leslie. You're right, darling. A lot of evidence being given, but again, I just want to try and bring it back to that thing about that next step. How can we bring that next step in? How can we introduce people to the philosophy of spiritualism? Number one, rule number one, live forever. So, that doesn't devalue this life. In fact, it places even greater emphasis on this life and how you live it. And then looking for the spiritual side of the challenges that we have every day in our lives. And we have a lot currently. We have everything. I don't have to tell you, we all know it, we're all living with it. But how do we find to look at things with a spiritual version, a spiritual eye, a spiritual understanding, and try and make some sense out of these things, and trying to get that understanding of things. So, maybe I'm off a very big topic tonight. Harry, beauty, how are you? Yes, I agree. This extra additional cost, plus the cost of joining a midweek service, you will be looking at nearly £20 plus. If you have to pay parking one time, it's free. After 6, it's now 9 p.m. These are the things we need to look at. Mediumship and spirituality are two different things. My nan was one of the most spiritual people that I've ever known, and her chosen religion was Catholicism. Yeah, really good point there, Anne-Marie. Yeah, really good point. Spiritualism and spirituality are to be looked at separately at times. We do the awareness night on the beginning of the month, and at the end of the month we do spiritual cafe, just to bring in different thought process. Spiritualism to me is in my heart, is in my blood and bones. I love it. I love spiritualism. It does cause a bit of consternation at times when people want to come from a spirituality angle and say, well, we've got to do this. And so actually, no, because that's not spiritualism. And you know me, I'm a bit pedantic about things. But yeah, spirituality, and again, linking that in to our message of we live forever. And not only do we live forever, this world is always populated by those who have come before us, by those who've got an opinion, those who've got something to share, and getting those teachings through. So, Leslie Moulton on ULEZ. I would imagine they would just say Just say go to a church. Yeah, yeah. You may well see that. That would be wonderful if that happens, Leslie. That would be wonderful. So, uh, I'm very genuine, apparently. I do apologise. I said something's not quite right tonight. But you're over in Manhattan and it's 30 degrees, so we have absolutely no sympathy for you, Stefan, because we're over in the UK and it's 20 degrees and pouring down with rain and thunder every 5 minutes, so suck it up, buttercup. Well, yeah, Julie, yeah, good points there. Jamie, here we go. Oh, gosh, this is so slow tonight. I love this playing game. Working on the self requires very specific tools, and they will not going to encourage people to explore the self and their spirituality. We need to facilitate this through structured guidance. Exactly. Jamie, you've got a job. The Buddhist tradition has been doing this for many years, and it takes commitment and regular practice. The only way I can see us doing this is through focused meditation groups. The church could host this. Yes, Jamie, the church could host this. And you know what? It would require an exceptional person to lead that group, Jamie. That is a good point. Yeah, that is a good point. We've been running the meditation open circle here at Poole, and I'm very on the ball with things, and I explain very clearly, this is about meditation, this is going within, this is for you. This is not about making connection. Those of you, some people are advanced and they will get that connection, that's fine, that's personal and private to their time with their spirit. But for the general population coming in, it's just helping people start to meditate. So there's something there to be built up. We had a beautiful one the other week. They're not all, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but the one the other week was just amazing because of the makeup of people in there and the things that were being discussed. Very much on that progressive unfoldment for self road. It was really beautiful. It did get ruined by the cat who'd hidden in the church and decided that she wanted to walk around the circle. Everybody's like, oh, we won't go there. We won't make that mistake again. So yeah, no, I like that, Jamie. I do like that. Yeah, the meditation groups. Yeah. Because as I say, on that last open meditation circle, the topics, the conversation, the questions people were asking were all about self, not selfishly, but they were about self and understanding things and understanding sort of like the greater picture of the spirit world, connections, and yeah, it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Sue, lovely Sue. I feel awareness is about opening up our senses to the vibrant energy of the spirit all around us in all its forms, as well as discarnate spirit and how we feel within ourselves and become more present, develops conscious awareness. Yeah, there is good points in there, but as I say, my thinking is bringing it back to self, exploring that side of it. This is one of these subjects that can rumble on forever, but I want to try and come up with a definitive idea to go forward with this, because as I say, it's just very close to my heart. Here we go, lovely Reverend Leslie, where are you? Come along, come along. The more we talk about our religion and spirituality, the more people become interested. Yep, very true. Yeah, that is true, Leslie. There is more opportunities to discuss things nowadays. There is more opportunity there to have those conversations. The lovely out in Denmark, a series of going out to local cafes and organising conversation nights, which I think is just great. Yeah, I just think that's amazing. That's a really good idea, how to reach a bigger audience. As I say, we have this thing sometimes, we hear it, how do we get more people in our churches? Well, my version of that is, well, get off your backside and go out and meet people. Stop waiting for them to come to you, you make effort, meet them halfway. But yes, yeah, definitely, Leslie, there is that element there that the more we talk about it, and of course now, since 2020, we're having these opportunities now to have conversations like this. We're having these opportunities to present spiritualism. We've got ourselves here at Paul, we've started off a series of monthly divine services on Zoom, and that kicks off a week tomorrow, which is going to be wonderful. And that's going to be presented slightly differently to the standard that we're seeing out there at the moment using Zoom, because Zoom is a really powerful tool. So it would just be interesting to see, we're having different seasons for different subjects rather than working a medium into the ground for an hour and a half, which is a personal thing of mine at the moment. So one person will be doing the prayers, another person will be doing the healing, another one will be doing the philosophy, another one will be doing the evidential. In theory, so I'd love to see how the evidentials get on with that, because I know myself, to take a whole divine service, I feel that empowers me right way through. I find straightforward Dems sometimes a little bit difficult, so am I introducing that element into the divine service? Time will tell, and feedback will tell as well. So, and another reverend, we've got lots of reverends in tonight, it's lovely. Oh, please play the game, StreamYard. Come along, you've been ever so good. Reverend Adler, mediumship is not the end goal. Here. That is exactly where I'm coming from. That is exactly my thinking of bringing that aspect into, or back into, our churches and centres. That soul development. I'm going to make you a medium, not this, I'm going to make you this or make you that. I want to open the door and you can, inside you, go and find yourself. And go and find yourself using the tools of philosophy, the tools of meditation, the tools of knowledge from the right. We've got such a rich history. There's a wonderful book by a lady called Deborah Skelton. It's a collection of writings from spirits. I had the first one and I've just received the second one, and I can pick it up and open it up at any page and just go, wow, that really said something to me. And not one of them is, I've got your mother here. It's always all about spirit communion. It's a wonderful book. Lovely Stefan, who is out there in Manhattan. So you're 5 hours behind, so you're probably in a bar somewhere in Manhattan. For me, awareness comes with time, many years. To say different is to let one's ego get to the better of them. Yeah, this is the other thing, and this is across the board with spiritualism, is the time effort that we need to put in. Bringing it back to the evidential mediumship is a common cry people are saying about, somebody going a course one week and next week they're out there working and things like that. It is time. It is time. It's all about time. And the odd thing is, once you do get on that path, the time factor suddenly feels like you haven't got enough time. That sounds a bit Irish, I know, but it does. You just think, oh my goodness, there's all this to explore, and this is not going to fit into this lifetime. This has got to be for later. Yay! And thank you, Jamie. Challenge accepted. Thank you. I will be talking with you, sir. Thank you very much. Arisha. Again, apologies tonight. These questions are slow loading. It's very irritating. One of the questions I always ask new students is, why do you want to develop your mediumship? Very good question. Very good. I mean, you go back to our era, Arisha. You were invited in. You didn't walk up and say, I want to join your circle, because you were getting knocked back. You were invited into circles, and there would be an interview process. But again, that was very much of a time and a generation. You know, we do need to move with the times, but we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater either. You know, so yeah, why do you want to develop that? I would prefer a much more structured version to come in of self-development first, and then build up from that. And if you start to see a potential, then maybe suggest moving on to another circle. I had that with Reiki training. I did Reiki 1 and got halfway through Reiki 2 and just thought, well, I'm going mental here because people are just talking to me in my ear and there's no one there. And the person that was teaching me just said, no, carry on, do your Reiki 2, but afterwards go and find yourself a mediumship circle to sit in. And she said, in fact, I've had a word with somebody and they've got a vacancy, so go and sit with them. So, oh, okay. I'll do that. Yeah, I'm easy. I like things like that. But yeah, that really is a good question. And interesting, I just having one of my little ponders the other day, and I thought, I wonder, and I was asking myself this. Do I, when I'm getting up to take a service or a DEM or a private sitting, yes, I'm linking, yes, I'm saying, right, I'm here to work, and putting the intent out, but do I need to actually, and this is again for me, do I need to bring in that intent of the sacredness of what I'm doing? You know, that I'm working for 2 parties, no, 3 parties actually. This is where I went to with this. I have very long, boring days sometimes. But am I bringing in, when I'm invoking the spirit, when I'm invoking that energy and setting that intent, am I bringing that thought in about the potential for the message, the potential for the person giving the message, and also the acknowledgement of the divine influence that flows through all things? You know, it's just like, I was just thinking, yeah, I need to look at that and work with that. So, thank you, Risha. Lovely Anne-Marie. Come along. Oh, this is painful tonight. I have to say, I used to attend a course at a well-known college, and it was called Echo of the Souls, and they were lucky to get 20 students on it, as it had no mediumship being taught. Absolutely, Anne-Marie. Absolutely, I get that. I do get that 100%. We have still got this, I don't know what to call it, fame issue, I don't know. If you put a DEM on, you'll get 60 or 70 in. If you put on an evening about self-development, you may only get a few. I know we have the adage of whoever's meant to be there will be there, etc., etc. But I do try and analyse things. I do try and make a sense out of it. There was a talk a little while back, and her name, Jean Bassett in 1990. She gave this wonderful, inspiring talk about spiritualism. And she said something and I went, yeah, I like what you were saying. She was saying about 50, 60 years ago we would fill halls, and we're talking about the Albert Hall and places like that. where people would come and listen to the philosophy of spiritualism. Not, I've got another here, the philosophy of spiritualism. And she said, where are these people today? And this is 1990, so this is not a recent thing, this is not a post-COVID thing. And I just thought, yeah, where are these people? Or have we stopped saying things that people want to listen to? Are we not updating our philosophy? We got the lovely Reverend Ashley in here tonight, and I was just so grateful and happy to have that opportunity to take her out and work with me a couple of times. And it was wonderful to see, I'm going to sound really old now, but it was wonderful to see and hear the younger generation's way of working. It was like, oh God, yeah, I like this. From elements in the philosophy that were much more of a generational thing, through to the actual evidence and talking about Twitter and things. And I'm just thinking, this is great. This is really good. This is what we need. We need this movement. We need this continual flow of energy and people coming in. But we're getting the people in with that grounding, getting the people in. I always say to anybody who approaches me for learning, I say, I can only teach you my techniques and ways of doing things through my experience. I can't teach you the basics, and the basics are honesty, humility and reverence. I can't teach you that. If you haven't got that, I'm sorry, I can't teach you. You know, because that is a core that you need to build upon, and if it's not there, then I'm sorry, I'm not your medium. So, yeah, interesting. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Yeah, we do know what we do here at Paul Church. We know that some events will be very well attended, other events not so well attended. But what we do on the balance is the educational side, and just say, well, do you know what? If it's supporting the ongoing education of other people, that's great. That's absolutely fine. It's getting that balance in and not going too far one way or the other. But yeah, I see a lot of places dumping educational nights because they don't get so many in. Well, before you go dumping it, actually look at the evening, look at how it's presented, look at the generational aspects of people presenting it. And this is not being rude or anything to anybody of our age. I can say that now, I'm of that age, of our age. I watched a Zoom service the other night, and I was quite, that's interesting. It was heavily orthodox in its presentation. I just thought, do you know what, anybody about 25 years old coming into this Zoom room will start to glaze over and wander off. Simple. Really would. So yeah, you know, we've got to keep that movement going. We've got to look at not only today's generations coming in as earnest inquirers into our movement, also children, teenagers. You know, I've been having some fabulous discussions with somebody again. I won't mention their name again because they will appear. Fabulous discussions talking about setting up a Lyceum movement again of teenagers and children, and obviously within all the legal requirements. But it was just said about the person presenting it and getting a youth worker in. And I thought, yes, exactly. Yeah, I try to stay abreast of things, but I'm not a teenager. I act like one, but I'm not be as stroppy as one. But I'm not a teenager. I don't know the world they're living in. I don't live in that world. But if you can get somebody in who is in touch, is in tune, and is of that generation, and has that spiritual understanding as well, that is the person I am now on the lookout. So beware, you may get the Paul volunteer thrust upon you. Ashley, Reverend Ashley Oliver. We host a meditation group once a month after the service, and it is very popular and had a lovely intro into diving deeper. Good idea, good idea. I know my dad used to do his open circle after the service on a Sunday. And yeah, there is potential there for that. There is. Can you hear the cogs whirring out there? Juliet watching us on YouTube. I help facilitate a spiritual development group, and we like to support each person to find their own spiritual gifts on their journey in life. We introduce meditation, healing and mediumship. Lovely. Yeah, brilliant. Well done, Juliet. That is very good. But I just want to go that little bit deeper about their own spiritual gifts. I don't know, it's just me being pedantic about words again, so forgive me because I annoy myself when I do this. It's finding that spirit within with people, not a gift to be exercised, but just finding that spirit within, that soul connection, and then building out from there. And yes, utilising anything that may develop along the path there. But yeah, well done, Juliet, well done. Stefan, it's just being rude because it's Stefan. He feels like a drink looking at the background. Well, Stefan, the next time you're coming down the aisle with a trolley laden with alcohol, stop it. Stop it. Here we go. Phil Shaw. Very good, Laurie. Dividing up the church, dividing up the evening on Zoom as in a traditional sense. I was recently asked to do a 90-minute demo at church, which was quite a slog, and would have preferred to intro talks and philosophy balance out the mediumship. Yeah, definitely, Phil. This has been a bit of a battle cry with me and talking with fellow mediums over the last probably 6 or 8 weeks, and just say, do churches actually demand too much of mediums at times? And the physical ones, the electronic ones, I actually turned down a request for a booking because it was an hour and a half of mediumship, and I said, well, I'll do an hour. And they said, no, we want an hour and a half. And I said, well, good luck finding a medium then, it's not for me. Because I just think, you know what? We get it. We all have our different tolerances. We all have our different strengths. And yeah, evidential mediumship is wonderful when you're in the flow. But say you look at the structure of a divine service in the church, it generally follows a pattern that's been set down 30, 40 years ago, where actually the chairperson holds probably 5% of that time, and the medium holds the other 95%. And we're all fragile, we're all sensitive as mediums. Everybody on here who goes out and works at a medium will understand this, hopefully. Or I'm just being a sissy. No, we understand this. When you give a debt, certainly with our mediumship, the one thing that I love is I finish on a high. That last message is as good, as strong, as pure as the first message. The presence of spirit was felt. Love that. And you message like that, and then you hear from the chair, oh, time for one more. And I said, well, if you want one more, love, crack on. Because I don't want to let down the spirit, not let down me. I go away a little bit chagrined over it. But let down the spirit, and after you've done the prayer, you've done the reading, you've done the philosophy, and then you're into your mediumship, your energies are starting. It's a long haul. It is a long haul. And to me, the medium's job, beautiful moon, the medium's job is to present spiritualism in its best light. And part of that is that first message and last message are the same, as in they are strong, clear, evidential, and filled with the presence and the love of spirit. And sometimes we can risk that by churches or centres having these, where does this come from? Oh no, we do an hour and a half. Why? It's probably get a lot of bookings. Face bothered. No, but seriously. Our services here at Paul, we brought in this hour-long theme when we reopened after the first lockdown to minimise the amount of time people were in an enclosed space. But actually we found it works really well. And actually the feedback from the mediums is very positive, mainly. Some are not so good on it, and that's fine, we're all different, we're all unique, and that's to be celebrated. But most go, do you know what, that feels right, because everything has got its part, and I can maintain that energy for an hour working in these different fields and disciplines. I can work in my prayer, I can work in my philosophy, I can work in my evidential. And I'm not sort of like trying to drag it out. Because the other side of that coin is all right saying doing an hour and a half, but as we all know as working mediums, sometimes congregations is a bit hard work. I don't know what this is. This is something I've noticed a lot post-COVID, that people are sort of like reluctant to talk. And I'd like to get to the bottom of that and find out what that is. What is that? But yeah. Anyway, yes, Phil. Very good. Lovely Arisha. I was taught you must know yourself before you stand up to deliver anything from the rostrum. Yes. Yes, you should. It's imperative. And again, not having this 90-minute spiritualist approach. Get up on the rostrum, go, here I am, I'm lovely, I'm wonderful. And 5 minutes later on Facebook slagging somebody off because they haven't done what you want them to do. Too many people live in Facebook, seriously, they need to move out. They need a holiday. But yeah, I know some of the people I've met have been just amazing in as much as they just don't go down this road of, somebody does something they don't agree with, that's fine. And that's a philosophy I really, really try to adhere to, that, yeah, okay, if we're not going to get on, do you know what, that's fine. However, how do we move on apart from this is another decision to be made. But yeah, knowing yourself, know thyself. The lovely Stefan, I saw a video today and it was so you, and I nearly sent it to you, but I thought I'd offended you because it was just so you at a concert. It was brilliant. I gave a crew colleague a message from her dad. She told me to stop it, as was freaking her out with evidence. I told her that it was her fault. She started talking to me about her dad. Just invite him in, why don't you? Yeah. You might find this useful, Stefan, or you might think, shut up, Lawrence. Most people do. When I was early on in my development, my partner actually dragged me out of a nightclub once and told me off severely because it was something new. It was an ability that I'm just like, oh my God, I can do this. And yeah, thank you, Steve, for doing that. So I came up with an agreement with Spirit. I said, if there is a need outside of an engagement, I need a sign. And I get this, and it is literally a physical sensation of a finger going up my neck when I'm talking to somebody. And when I get that, I go, oh, okay, I don't mean I'm going to burst straight into a message, but I will then steer the conversation round about, oh, do you ever see medium? And do you know what? Invariably, they go, oh yeah, we see mediums a lot and things like, and it's just there. It's already there. So the intelligence of spirit. It's not only them saying to you, yes, you can work with this person, but they're also saying in that same breath, and this person is ready to listen. We did have a person who used to come to Paul Church, who had several reports of. They would approach people at bus stops and start giving them messages and things like that, and that's just not on. That seriously isn't on. But yeah, I get that, Stefan, in that environment, because yeah, you are close together, you create that union, you create that circle energy. You're not saying meditation, but you're all there together with that same intent and working together. So yeah, I can see how that comes in. But as I say, how I got round that, I just sat with Spirit and said, okay, I'm quite happy, I'll be used as your instrument. However, if it is not when I'm employed as a medium, if there is a need, I need a sign. And the first time I got it, I'm like, what is, and I knew what it was. I went, okay, thank you. Lovely Ashley Oliver. My goodness, I didn't think I was going to talk for 20 minutes tonight, and time's racing on. We have a wonderful history of being at the forefront of going out into the physical world and seeking ways to be of service and making a difference. Spiritualism and theosophy as faith movements were at the leading edge of feminism, equality, trade unions, labour reform, etc. We have become very insular and inward obsessed and forgotten to look outwards at being a servant of the divine. Christ has no body but yours, no hands, no feet on the earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which. And then we've run out. Spot on, actually. Spot on. Yes. We, a couple of people who attend Paul Church, I know they go up on the recent rally held in London. The protest marches, and talking to one day just coming out after the service, I just said, oh, are you going up to the Reading March next week? And they looked at me aghast. It was like, why are you asking? Are you going to tell me off? And it's like that look. And I just looked at him and I said, so are you going up for it? He went, well, yeah, we are. I'd love to be up with you. I said, but that weekend we've got something on. And still this state of shock was registered very clearly on his face. I went, listen, spiritualism has always been a movement of activists. And that being an activist means getting off your bum and going out there and doing what you feel needs doing, with thought for others, obviously, but yeah, going out there and making that difference. And he was totally bemused by that prospect. It made me giggle. I thought, God, if I was on one of your marches, mate, you might be thinking, oh God, get him out quick. But yeah, we are. Because of that self-development, because of that self-awareness. We go back through the 1800s and early 1900s, and these amazing people that did amazing things because they had investigated spiritualism, because they had developed that not ability to give a message, but they had developed that awareness and understanding of spirit and the different schools of thoughts, and that broadening of the horizons on how we look at things, not just the A plus B equals C. It's sort of like what goes on beyond there. So yeah, bang on, Ashley, well done. I'm so pleased to hear that from other people. I really am, because like you say, we have become insular, and obsessed with, next week, the medium next week, he's really good, it's obviously his name's not Lawrence, but get excited when we see demonstrators of unique abilities and good standing. Get excited about that, but not just about the evidence. Get excited about the philosophy, get excited about what it means and what you can learn. You know, I always say the churches and centres, our one product is hope. And whatever form that comes in, that is that product that we actually have. You know, when people come out of a divine service and it's just worked, everything's just worked. The philosophy was amazing. Music matched everything. The evidence was strong, and the feel of spirit coming in. You know, and people just going out, and it's just getting on to that next stage of going, yeah, that is a great feeling, and that feeling is not confined to that time. That is a feeling you can take out with you. That is a feeling you can tap into. Stefan. Yep. Do you know what, Stefan? I'm years old. And when I came into spiritualism, I quickly worked this out now. Oh my God. 48 years ago. I know, I don't look old enough, but there you go. Somewhere there is a picture of me mouldering away. No. When I came into spiritualism 48 years ago, it was about, yeah, we've got to get the younger generation in. And anybody dared to bring in a child into a church, you know, people sit there virtually hissing and things like that. But in order to get the younger generation, this goes back to the conversation a bit earlier on, we've got to be talking to, not at. This is why I keep stripping away the lectern off of Paul Church. Because I don't want to be talking at people anymore. I want to be talking with people. And in order to talk with people, we've got to have that coherent link between the lives that we are living and understanding. So, yeah, there is certainly a big area there to start exploring and bringing in that generational feel. Generation-specific events as well. So, yeah. Oh, look out, Stefan. Auntie Arisha's telling you off. Hello, Adam. You alright, sir? Phil Shaw. Yes, now I saw this advertised and I thought, good. We now have a Sunday Lyceum at Wimbledon Church run by Ashley Robinson, and on tomorrow at 10:30, followed by a divine service. Yeah, I saw that, and Ashley is of that right gender. He's a lovely guy. And yeah, I can see him relating, and the people that go to the Lyceum relating with him, because that's imperative. If, you know, people coming into the Lyceum and they can't relate with the person who's talking to them, seriously, you're wasting your time. Something not right, it's not in that balance. But yeah, the Lyceums or study groups, or, you know, terminology as well, because a study group does sound a bit dry and desiccated. The Spiritists are very good with their study groups, but that's inherent in their movement of Spiritism, that their centres and groups have these study groups. They understand and expect that, and it's brought into the family group at very early age. Spiritist children are brought up in that understanding, and they have the access there to these discussions, so it's not an alien thing to them. So, you know, we're in spiritualism. How do we start to foster that community of family groups? It does tend to be, you can shout me down if you like, that's fine, but it does tend to be the ladies will go to church, and how many times have you seen it, the old man sat there, the medium goes to them, and the medium says, you were dragged here tonight, weren't you? Yeah. So, you know, how do we get that energy back into our churches? How do we get that family community building in our churches? There's one to have a think about. There's one to have a little think on. We disappeared. No, I've disappeared. Sorry, folks. There's something going on. We had a couple of horrendous thunderstorms down here earlier on today, so I don't know if that's playing things up. Jamie! If a medium is not self-aware, how can they avoid colouring their messages with bias or prejudice, help others who are? Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. You so often see that. I saw a trance dem one by a visiting person to the area, and I just thought there's so much of the medium in what's being said here. It was a shame. You felt the energy. You felt that closeness, but there was just so much of the medium in that talk, which was, yeah, okay. It happens. It happens. But yeah, our self-awareness and being aware of ourselves enough to get ourselves out of the way of the message as well. Another little trick to learn. And Jamie again. Oh, do please hurry up, StreamYard. I'd love to have that. If medium. Oh no, just had that. Oh, put it twice, and never mind. Lovely Joan out in Philadelphia. I was watching a programme about Philadelphia, Joan. I was quite surprised by some areas there. I was like, wow. I have learned so much about myself through these evenings and services at Paul. Laurie, you know how to teach and guide so well. Oh, bless. Oh, thank you, Joan. You're not in your hot tub with a glass of Merlot at the moment, are you? Because I don't quite know how I feel about that. Oh, I'm going to watch church service. I get the hot tub on the go and open up a bottle of wine. Well, why not, Joan? Why not? I know you're laughing your head off over there. And I hope John's on the road to recovery. So, yeah, lots of love to you, darling. Jamie. When we understand ourselves, we learn compassion, empathy and honesty. The characteristics of mediumship. Yeah. Yeah, that is so true. I know my development path. This may come as a shock to some people, but I can be quite outspoken. Now, I can hear you all go, no. I can be quite outspoken. But yeah, one of the biggest things I learned was I would go away from conversations and just think, you really did not handle that well. And it was, again, that magic word, the awareness, because before I wasn't aware. But when the awareness starts coming in, that's where the changes start to happen in our day-to-day life. It's when we walk away from somebody and just think, I've left something undone, or I've been unkind, or I want to go back and help that person, because that is that awareness. And this is what I would love to see those tools come in to develop that self-awareness. Because once self-awareness comes in, so we're not reaching out to make spirit contact, it's that self-awareness, it's connecting with our soul. And once we start on that self-awareness, the other awarenesses will grow from that, because we start acting exactly as you say, with compassion, with empathy and with honesty. And with ourselves. That's really struggle with at times, you know. Reflecting those back to self. I'm fine, you know, I'm fine. Legs just fallen off, but no, I'm fine. Right. All my comments have just suddenly disappeared, which is really annoying. No, they're back again. So it's too hot for the hot tub for tonight in Joan. And yeah, John's still in the healing book, Joan. Yeah. I know, Phil. Laurie outspoken, yes. Yes, Sue. Self-awareness. Anyway, everybody. Thank you so much for putting up with one of my rambling nights. As I said, being a bank holiday, I thought I'd leave people alone. We are back next Saturday at 7 p.m. GMT. And we have the lovely Bruno from Portugal. And we also have the wonderful Ron from Florida. And we're just talking different approaches to spiritualism in different nationalities and different lands. And it's quite interesting because I found out something recently, and it was quite a thing for me. I was a lot of where Europe now is starting to get more on board with spiritualism through these wonderful talks and Zoom and everything. They refer to some parts of spiritualism as the English way. And apparently in America as well, they refer to, oh, we're going to work tonight in the English way. So I just found that really interesting that we have a style as a nation. I was just like, so I want to delve into that a bit, just understand that a bit more. Lovely Bruno, Portugal, another one of these European neighbours who spiritualism is starting now to gain attention. It's starting to make a presence felt. Lovely Ron, who is a metaphysical minister, and he's always great to talk to. He's such a nice guy. So, thank you, everybody. I hope you found things in there to think about. I know I have, because as I'm waffling away here, what's the matter, baby? Oh dear, I've got a very upset pussy tonight. Ooh, Mrs. Slocum. It's... I'm so sorry about that. No, I'm not. It's funny. We had thunder, and she's very hyper nervous. Aren't you, baby girl? You should just run to daddy. Aha. Yeah, as I'm talking, it's actually formulating, crystallising thoughts in my head. So thank you for your time and attention. Yeah, no, actually, Jamie, I thought that as well. And you, Adam. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Keep up the good work. You're an instrument for change, and it's wonderful to see. Jamie, the English way make a reference here. In some cases, yes, it's where they have attended that, but now because of the electronic church being widespread, people are watching things coming out of England and going, oh, right, okay, and that's what they're associating the English way of doing things. So that's yes, Phil, my pussy, my little, not my cat, and she is, oh, sad. We should get big cuddles in a minute. Stop it, Stefan. Let's behave. Marianne, thank you, my dear. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful bank holiday. Whatever you're getting up to, have lots of fun. We've got a wonderful service here tomorrow, which will be streamed live. And that's with Mark Stone, who always delivers. Yeah, he's wonderful. Next week we've got a really wonderful meeting. No. I always look forward to Mark's visit. We're also doing a barbecue afterwards, a little charity session for a local homeless association who are doing sterling work. They really are going out there and getting stuck in. Hats off to them. So we're going to mix that with a bit of a social and have a fundraising barbecue. Next weekend, we had a cancellation. We were going to go with one event that was called off through lack of support. That's fine. I've also managed now to secure Sandra Mitchell-Therius, who's going to be working at Paul all next weekend. So she's got a dem on Saturday night, service on Sunday, private sittings in the afternoon. Got to go to work, Pat. Ah, bless. Have a nice time. So it's coming off. And as I said, don't forget next Sunday week tomorrow, 6:30 GMT, we have the first of our divine services held on Zoom coming out. We've got lovely Lola will be taking the prayers. Jack Eckhart from Denmark will be taking the healing. Then Angela Foster, DSNU, will be delivering the reading and philosophy. Sorry, Jack's doing the healing. And then we have Frederick Hagland, CSNU, who will be taking the mediumship part of the service. Just want to try something different and try and utilise some of the wonderful things Zoom has got. So, yeah, have a watch and all feedbacks. In the meantime, have a great bank holiday. Hopefully, it's got a lovely clear sky now. Today we've had monsoon weather down here, but never mind, garden needed it. Good night everybody, God bless, and thank you so much for your time.